And welcome back to Focal Point. Number again to call if you'd like to join the conversation. Talk about anything that we have talked about so far today on Focal Point. Glad to have you call. The number is 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. Mentioned at the top of the hour, got a couple of pieces here. One of them on Time Magazine, written by Camille Paglia, who is a hardcore feminist. She's a hardcore leftist, but she's also a feminist who has not checked her mind at the door. And she is a woman who understands the critical importance of men, of masculine men, of strong men in our society. And she's got a piece here, Time Magazine. Again, I don't know what's happening in Time Magazine. They picked a guy as the man of the year who believes that same-sex marriage is out to destroy God's design and that it comes from the father of lies. And now they're publishing a piece from Camille Paglia entitled, "It's a Man's World, and It Always Will Be." She starts off this way: if men are obsolete, which is what feminists want you to think, who needs them? If men are obsolete, kind of forgetting the fact, well, where do our next generation of women come from? Well, some point that's going to require the contributions of a man. If men are obsolete, then women will soon be extinct. And she says this about feminism: a peevish, grudging rancor against men has been one of the most unpalatable and unjust features of second and third wave feminism. Men's faults, failings, and foibles have been seized on and magnified into gruesome bills of indictment. And by the way, you know, the church has fallen into this trap. I mean, a lot of times when you hear sermons on marriage, it's always the guy's fault. You know, when pastors will say, if there's something wrong in your marriage, it's your fault. Something wrong in your home, it's your fault. I mean, the default position is it's the man's fault for everything that goes wrong in marriage and family. And, well, you know, we'll kind of give lip service. Yeah, both parties contribute. When it comes down to it, the church just lacerates men. And you can tell that when you compare Mother's Day sermons to Father's Day sermons. Am I right about this? Mother's Day sermons, what do? We bring out roses and we bring out flowers and we honor the woman that's been the mother the longest and we honor the woman that's been the mother the shortest and we honor the woman that has the most kids. And we say glowing and wonderful things about mothers. Then what happens on Father's Day? I mean, it's like the preacher brings out a baseball bat and starts clubbing these guys over the head for not being better husbands and not being better fathers and not being better providers. So we kind of fall into this same trap, too, that Camille Paglia is talking about. Ideologue professors at our leading universities indoctrinate impressionable undergraduates with carelessly fact-free theories alleging that gender is an arbitrary, oppressive fiction with no basis in biology. Now, you and I know better because we know that God created us what? Genesis 1, male and female. There are two genders, two sexes, only two. There aren't five or more, as those in the gay lobby want us to believe. There's only two. You're either a male or a female. You are from the moment you are conceived until the day you die. Doesn't matter what kind of surgical mutilation is done on you, what kind of drugs you take, you will be a male or a female until the day you die. Is it any wonder that so many high-achieving young women, despite all the happy talk about their academic success, find themselves in the early stages of their careers in chronic uncertainty or anxiety about their prospects for an emotionally fulfilled private life? When an educated culture routinely denigrates masculinity and manhood, then women will be perpetually stuck with boys who have no incentive to mature or to honor their commitments. And that's one of the problems with sexual freedom. It's one of the problems with abortion on demand. It's one of the problems with the pill. It separated sexual intimacy from procreation. So guys now had all kinds of liberties that they didn't have before. They could engage in sex freely because the objects of their desire were on the pill and couldn't conceive, so they didn't have to worry about that risk, or they could just send them off to get an abortion. So for men, it was a bonanza for men. It became sort of a risk-free zone for them, whereas women were the ones that had to bear the bulk of the burden for sexual intimacy. And so he said, because of sexual revolution, the attitude of feminism, men just have no incentive to mature or to honor their commitments. They can stay adolescents the rest of their lives. Without strong men as models to either embrace or to resist, women will never attain a centered and profound sense of themselves as women. It says this, history must be seen clearly and fairly. Listen to this. Obstructive traditions arose not from men's hatred or enslavement of women, but from the natural division of labor that had developed over thousands of years, and I think this is by God's design, this is not accidental, during the agrarian period, that's agriculture, and that once immensely benefited and protected women, permitting them to remain at the hearth to care for helpless infants and children. Over the past century, it was labor-saving appliances invented by men and spread by capitalism that liberated women from daily drudgery. So you go all the way back. When we were an agrarian society where men were kind of hunters and gatherers, it was the men that went out, did the hard work behind the plows, digging up the soil, hunting for food, in order that their women, their wives, the mothers of their children could focus their energies on the home. She goes on, indeed, men are absolutely indispensable right now, invisible as it is to most feminists who seem blind to the infrastructure that makes their own work lives possible. It is overwhelmingly men who do the dirty, dangerous work of building roads, pouring concrete, laying bricks, tarring roofs, hanging electric wires, excavating natural gas and sewage lines, cutting and clearing trees, and bulldozing the landscape for housing developments. It is men who heft and weld the giant steel beams that frame our office buildings, and it is men who do the hair-raising work of insetting and sealing finely tempered plate glass windows of skyscrapers 50 stories tall. She concludes, the modern economy with its vast production and distribution network is a male epic in which women have found a productive role, but women were not its author. Surely, modern women are strong enough now to give credit where credit is due, and Camille Paglia certainly does that. All right, well, let's go to the phones. The number to call, 888-589-8840 is the number if you'd like to join the conversation. Let's go to Martin in Richmond, Virginia. Martin, welcome to Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
Good afternoon, Brian.
Hi.
All right, well, I was calling your comment before your last break when you were kind of giving the left a hard time for painting the kid as being on the right, while in the same sentence you're painting them as being on the left. I was wondering, is what you're saying any better than what you were condemning the left for?
Yeah, because wait, Martin, hold it. And Martin, hold it. I did not paint him as a leftist. He painted himself as a leftist. He's the one that told his fellow students he was a committed communist. He's the one who told his fellow students he was an opinionated socialist. I didn't say that. I'm just reporting. Martin, hold it. I'll let you have the last word here. But Martin, I am not tagging him. I'm not tagging him as a member of the left. He tagged himself as a member of the left. I'm simply reporting on that, Martin, to correct the myth of the mainstream media. All right, go ahead.
What I heard and you say on the radio was the exact same thing you were trying to condemn the left for saying or doing. It doesn't matter.
Which is what? I'm sorry. What was?
It was a kid in high school, Brian. That's the bottom line. I mean, it's left, right. It's beyond all that.
Well, but how do you explain, Martin? You know, I went through yesterday a list of probably a dozen shooters in the last 4 or 5 years, every single one of them, a leftist except for maybe one exception, the guy that shot at Gabby Giffords. They're all left-wingers in their ideology. How do you explain that?
How do you explain the left-winger? Brian, it's...
No, my question, Martin. No, my question, Martin. No, Martin, my question for you is how do you explain the fact that all of those shooters, with maybe one exception, were left-wing in their ideology? How do you explain that?
You explain it as being beyond left or right. I mean,
so you're saying hold it.
Is the guy from Fort Hood? Which political view was he?
Well, he was a Muslim.
So is that left, right? What do you consider Muslim? What do you consider that?
Well, I don't know. Whatever you consider somebody who believes whatever. Hold it, Martin. Hold it, Martin. Whatever you believe about a religion that teaches you to kill innocent people, whatever that is, that's what Muslims are. That's what he was. Killing infidels. That's what he was. That's what his religion teaches him. I don't know how you categorize that, but however you do it, that's what it was. But Martin, are you seriously telling me that their value system, that the value system of these shooters, their worldview, what was going on in their minds, had absolutely nothing to do with their actions? Can you possibly be that naive about human nature?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you sit on the radio and you try to make it seem like the right wing of politics are the only people who believe in God, Brian. And in my opinion, me being, I would have to say an atheist because I don't really believe in any of it. It seems like to me that's the furthest away from the teachings in the Bible to me.
What's away from the teachings of the Bible?
The right wing.
Now, why are they away from the teaching of the Bible?
Well, because when you make hypocritical statements and then you always everything is because you Christianity, it makes no sense to like people.
But Martin, how is it hypocritical if I'm simply reporting what the guy himself did and said? How does that make me hypocritical?
Well,
Martin, that's just the truth.
When you stated that, he had been a couple of years since he had been to Bible school, so what?
So I mean, I don't know where you're going with that. I got 5 seconds.
I appreciate the conversation, Rob.
All right, okay, Martin. That's Martin, Richmond, Virginia. We'll be back after the news. Stay with us. Focal Point, AFR Talk.